What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. I've always in TCGs been really disappointed about how the board and movement doesn't really play a factor in with the cards, and when I used to look at chess, I used to think it would be awesome if one of these pieces had special abilities besides just how it moved. Well, Domain takes care of both of these, and myself and Billy Brake sat down with one of the heads of Domain TCG, Robert, and we're going to have some gameplay in the background while I go over some of the rules for you. While the game itself is complex and intricate, the goal is pretty simple. Destroy the opponent's king by lowering its hit points or HP to 0. The requirements of a deck that you put along with the game board is you need at least 20 cards minimum to 40 cards maximum. Now, each player starts by drawing 4 cards, and their kings are placed at opposite ends of the game board. A player is chosen at completely random to go first. The player that does go first starts with 0 points of mana, basically to balance them out, getting to play a card first, while the second player starts with 1 point of mana. So as you can probably tell, the game is turn-based. The game goes back and forth. Each player may only make moves during their own turns. Turns alternate, so I get a turn, you get a turn, I get a turn, you get a turn. A card is drawn from the deck for each player at the very end of their turn though, which is where this differs from a lot of TCGs, as the draw phase is usually the first thing happening. So this is where it differs a lot from other TCGs, and that's movement. You can drag and drop a card to a square to move. Now, whenever you hover over a card, it'll kind of have glowing spaces to wherever it can move to on the game board. And certain cards will be locked into types of movements. For example, some cards can only move diagonally and others may only move adjacently, horizontally and vertically to the spaces right around it. You may move a card to a square occupied by another card to attack it. That's kind of where you want the glowing spaces to be, so long as the attacking card has an attack stat. If the attacking card destroys the other card, it then takes its occupied square. Otherwise, the attacking card takes the nearest square along its path to the attacked square. Once a card has moved, it may not move again or activate an effect for the rest of the turn unless it has an ability that states otherwise. Now, the battles, some cards can attack other cards. The damage is based on the attack stat of the attacking card. The resulting HP on the attacked card is that card's current HP minus the attack of the attacking card. So you're inflicting damage from your attack minus to their HP. If the HP of the target is lowered to 0, it is sent to the grave. Some cards have special effects activated upon their attacking. Now let's talk about some of these special abilities known as effects. Cards have effects, which can give a player a unique advantage depending on how it's played. You can click on a card and then on their effect name, should they have an effect, or you can hover the card and it'll say effect, and you click on the button as it appears. You follow the card's instructions to actually trigger that card effect. A card can activate one effect per turn. Some will heal cards around you, others will be able to do damage. It really just depends. Once a card activates an effect, it cannot move for the rest of that turn. Something else that's a part of the game are continuous effects. Some effects just aren't trigger effects and will instead happen under certain conditions or continuously at the end of each turn. Also, be aware that you can only play 3 copies of each card. This stops strategies from becoming over redundant and just spamming the same card over and over, and also makes you limit how you're going to play certain cards on the board and decide when to throw them down and push towards the opponent with them. By now, you've probably been staring at the game board that we're playing on and noticed a lot of these squares look pretty dang different. Well, these are called terrains, and they do something within the game. Terrains boost the attack by 5 whole points of a card with the right bonus, and usually you can hover on the card and see what its bonus is, except for 2 spaces. Oasis is going to give you continuously 1 HP back per turn, so you want to kind of abuse these spaces when you're further away from the opponent, but when you're closer, Crystal gives you a +5 defense, thus really being super effective when in close range combat to help your cards survive longer. Your king's placement on the board is extremely important, not just for defense trying to live and running away, but also for launching your attacks. You can only play one card from your hand per turn, and these cards can only be played on squares directly adjacent to your king. So deciding where that goes on board is going to determine your offensive power and where it's launching from, as well as the defense of your entire plays. So deciding where you're moving to and reacting to your opponents is going to be extremely back and forth within this game. Some cards are naturally going to be much stronger than other cards, and you might look down towards the bottom of the cards and notice there's a point value. This is the amount of mana you're going to end up eating to summon the cards, and mana will be gained by different cards and effects throughout the game, so you want to take that into consideration with deck building, that if you want to summon these more powerful cards, you're going to need ways to gain your mana. The Domain TCG team has given me plenty to smile about, and it is completely free to sign up for, and I believe there's bonuses for signing up right now, like I think you get packs on entry, and while there are aspects that you could end up paying for if you get really into it, if you're like me, I'm a freemium warrior, and there's in-game ways I've been told to be able to grind up points in order to exchange for cards and packs for completely free. So that is a really awesome aspect for it. And if everything I said earlier whooshed over your head, there is a play tutorial, so you can actually get your hands on playing this completely without even signing up. But if you want to make that account right now, you can go over here. All you need to do is click need an account, and your username, take one that's not already taken, get in early right now, and that shouldn't be a problem. Email, and then passwords. So easy enough, right? And when we're looking around, you can even go and look at the starter decks right here and view the cards as they are. So you can see this cost 4 mana, all right, and then you can see kind of effects and what the cards do and start to get a better feel for this game and what the cards actually do. But of course, nothing beats playing an actual game. And let's go and read through their description because it kind of fits what I feel about it. Domain integrates board movements like chess, card combos, and deck crafting to constantly create new situations where players must adapt to win. You hear that? You hear that? That's no net decking. It's not going to be just you can copy a deck and try to play and things get boring. You've got to constantly adapt to how your opponent's playing and moving. There's no one superior best strategy because everything's going to end up having to be reactive to what your opponent is doing and how you want to set up as well. While Domain is comparable to Yu-Gi-Oh!, Hearthstone, or Magic, those games can suffer from stale metas. A few dominant decks can emerge in those games, and players must copy those to stay competitive. In Domain, there are 100 unique cards with unique abilities and unique board movements. Players must leverage these different aspects and crush their foes. The more skilled player usually wins, not the player who has the better cards. Again, the freemium aspect. I am a warrior when it comes to stuff like this. If I don't have to spend money, I'm going to grind hours and hours on the Domain site to make sure I get a playset of every card, which, by the way, I believe right now it's a maximum of you can play 3 of any card in your deck. But again, there are 100 cards out so far. They're going to continue to develop and craft it, and we are on the early access version if you're getting in now. They want to hear your feedback, they want you to sign up and play, and they want you to tell them what you think. So go ahead, pick this up, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. If I had one true critique, the only thing I can say is I want to see it kind of become more professional looking on this website. That's the only negative thing I can say, and right now it looks pretty darn good for the early stages. I just want it to integrate better, and that's all I can give for feedback. I enjoy playing the game, I enjoy the mechanics, and I'm already rushing and thinking about how I want cards that are towers that give defensive aspects around certain cards or give debuffs and buffs. It has my mind racing on the kind of cards they can create and make, and the different kinds of movements that are given by certain cards already really instill that creative juice I used to get for wanting to create Yu-Gi-Oh! Custom cards. So for me, this is a fresh look at making board movement matter, something sorely lacking from so many card games, yet it's on this kind of board that also has its own limitations, so it becomes really important for that playing back and forth with the opponent. opponent. But again, tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do pick this up, actually try it. I promise it's just hours of fun getting to learn it when you're pairing up with your friends and learning more. Thanks for watching, everybody.